Welcome to the kbbreview podcast. I'm Andy Davies, and this is another of our very special Insights 2026 series of daily episodes where we talk to leaders at some of the biggest brands in the kitchen and bathroom industry. We're getting their candid evaluations and conclusions for business in 2025 and seeing what their thoughts, predictions and plans are for 2026. It's all top level stuff and a proper snapshot of where the sector is as we head into the new year. In this episode, we're hearing from Wes McKenna, the Group Sales and Marketing Director for Uform. After a tough and unpredictable 2025 for the whole market, Wes believes a steady recovery, innovation, and the power of service will be the themes of 2026. You can find out more about Uform at uform.co.uk, and that link is in the episode description. So here is, as promised, Wes McKenna. Hello, Wes.
Hey, Andy. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, mate. How are you? Where are you today?
From home today, which is sunny York. Not quite so sunny.
Sunny is being ambitious, isn't it? Let's be honest. Let's start, Wes, if we can, I think, with some basic background, because everyone will have heard of Uform, obviously, but can you give us an idea of the sort of scale and size of it at the moment?
Yeah, so Uform is a fast-growing business, so if I'm honest, the numbers changed pretty rapidly. So yeah, we've grown from an £8 million business back in 2008, and we've grown around 20% on average every year since then till today. So we're around 78 million. We'll close this year out. So yeah, we have 450 employees, and again, that's probably doubled in maybe the last three or 4 years. So yeah, it's a fast growing business based in Toome, just outside of Belfast. But our predominant market, while we service and have probably a higher share in Ireland, the bigger part of our business is the UK. We service obviously independent kitchen retailers and a whole range of other routes to market across the whole of the UK and Ireland.
Yeah, it's a hugely impressive business, and I've watched it grow from the sidelines for several years. And that's why it's great to talk to you today for this whole Insights feature, because it is a real bellwether company, I think. I think how you are booking the market in lots of ways, and I think people are watching you to see what you're doing and how you're doing it. So before we go into 2026, what's your thoughts on the market of 2025 as it comes to a close? What kind of year has it been for you? What lessons are you taking from it? What are your highlights? What's your summing up of 2025?
Yeah, well, if I start at the market, obviously it's been a busy year. They all are. We move at pace, so they're always quite interesting, particularly post having gone through the whole post-COVID, and obviously to where we are now. But yeah, it's been a challenging year for the market. When I talk to the customers, you get different opinions. At best as being flat, but many report more in decline. I think the surprise has been the amount of very long established businesses, really good, strong business names struggling, and many unfortunately going under. But even the likes of Howdens and Wren, the big boys, the lock stocks have struggled. It's a competitive market, as you'd expect, a price-driven market to a degree. However, I honestly believe it's service that is winning out there, and it's service now that will drive market share, along with those who are able and have the ability to innovate and will invest in innovation. So I think that's one of the learnings. But the market's been tough for 2025 for sure. I think if we turn to our performance, we have had a very strong 12 months, so good double-digit growth. So it's been a strong year. I think the reality is you only grow at the moment from taking share. It's the only way you can really win. So our growth really comes from, it's the same model. It's not really changed. The model is all for us around growing our customer numbers and increasing the value of our customer spend. That's what the business is being built on. And we do it through, quality of product, service and innovation, and our people. That's our mantra. That's what we do. So, it's been a good year because we've gone into new categories. We launched into bedrooms. We launched into storage and bins. So we did sell predominantly doors, kitchen doors, but now obviously we sell pretty much everything, all the components that an independent kitchen retailer would need. The other thing that surprised me is how much painted products. So it's a tough market out there, but we are selling more high-end products. So we're selling more painted products, more paint to order. So the more consumers want differentiation and want different products, I think that's what we're capitalizing on. So we're winning customer numbers, but we're selling them more products and higher value products through particularly through painted.
I think being flexible and moving with the market and seeing where those opportunities are is really difficult. And I think it should be especially difficult for a company at the scale that you are at. But you seem able to move and to kind of flex yourself very quickly into new channels and new areas. Is there a secret to that, or is it just the strong base that you have?
You need a bedrock. For us, our bedrock is the relationship we have with our suppliers. So it is quite a difficult market to get into with regards to there's very few big players that can supply the demand we need, the kind of scale we need. So we have quite a flexible supply chain where we have the ability, just because of the expansion we've put in. So we expanded into the business back in around 2020 and put, the investment really to double the business. So we could actually become a £140 million business by, the paint lines, the factory and the warehousing. But the absolute bedrock is the ability to get that service from your suppliers. So the relationship we have with our suppliers allows us to effectively draw off stock a hell of a lot quicker and be a bit more flexible with regards to bringing in new product. So because you buy massive bulk from the continent, we're a distributor, but we're also a manufacturer, which means effectively we can make all of our timber doors, we can make all of our foil doors, so we can top our stock up, we can run products down, we can build products up, we can do any made to measure. So I think it's the flexibility of our supply chain, both our supply chain partners and our ability to manufacture, that allows us to innovate a lot faster than other companies can do.
And that is a very impressive setup. And as you say, you have a kind of base that you're building on all the time there. So let's go into 2026 then. How do you? Well, let's go back to the market as a whole. How do you see the next 12 months unfolding for the wider KBB market?
I mean, everyone's got an opinion on this, but I do believe the market is bottomed out. I do watch a fair bit of my politics, unfortunately, but the anticipation of the budget clearly put the market on pause. I think he does with any budget, but this particular budget has been a painful one. Just having it over, finished and out there will improve market conditions. The unknown is worse than the known. So I do think the market will pick up, but I think it'll be a very slow and gradual pickup.
What are the kind of macroeconomic indicators that you look at and follow to kind of gauge what goes on? Do you follow like the house prices, or some people follow the price of bricks, just to kind of see what that means for the market ahead? So what indicators do you look at and concentrate on?
Obviously, housing market growth in the contract market, the retail market, obviously they're all key indicators. But if I'm honest, we probably more look at the likes of inflation, interest rates, and what we see is the forward economic indicators, because housing really is an after effect of all those higher, you can almost see them 6 months before the impact on the market. So, I'm sat here really looking at inflation being the worrying indicator for me, because if inflation continues to stick where it is, and obviously interest rates can't come down, that's going to impact the housing market. So I think there'll be a lot less transactions, and that will impact the market negatively. On the converse, people are putting a lot more effort into their own homes, and therefore projects are becoming bigger, a little bit grander. People are prepared to lock down and effectively, probably the wrong word, but they're looking to lock down and do big projects, so they want them right. So people really want a good quality product, a good quality finish. So I don't think it's that people are all racing to the bottom end of the market. I think they want the right product, but there's less transactions, and that's going to be the issue.
let's go to Uform specifically then. What are your biggest opportunities that you've identified for 2026? Where are you focusing your time and your money?
So the model always stays the same in the way of we see ourselves as market leaders, in which case people will look at us to set the trends and innovate. So innovation will remain at the heart of what we do. So, we kind of changed tack a little bit last year in that it wasn't as focused on just bringing out new doors. It was bringing out new categories to market. As I said, bedroom storage bins, improving handles, all those kind of things. But the kitchen is still the heart of the home. It still needs the innovation. So what we did found is we launched to new ranges of both foil doors, because foil, while was not our absolute core market, is what consumers wanted when the economy turned a little bit tighter. But they still need innovation. Just because people can't afford as bigger or as expensive a kitchen, they still want innovation. So we start to really innovate in foil. And that's really, our foil sales were kind of off the charts. But again, we are a painted and timber business, so we needed to continue to innovate in those areas as well. So that's been really successful this year. So it's going to be more of the same, if I'm honest. We'll have a big launch in April next year where we'll continue to launch into new products, but also expand on the new categories that we've gone into. So innovation is one. I think you do have to open up your addressable market. So our core market is absolutely independent kitchen retailers, but we've built a fairly sizable market in contracts. And there's other areas that seem to be fairly untapped. So trade customers, white van man, whatever people want to reference it as, is a massive opportunity. People are becoming disgruntled with the likes of, if I'm honest, from Howdens and in retail Wren. They haven't delivered the service, the innovation. They've become expensive or have lacked service. Probably Howdens have probably not focused enough on price, and Wren the likes of service. But I think there's an opportunity there, both for independent kitchen retailers who can do the job very well, but also us to expand into other other routes to market as well. I suppose the condition we always say is we will always see independent kitchen retailers as our core market. So that will be the focus. But we'll, obviously getting into other areas that opens your addressable market and your ability to grow as a business.
Well, look, that all sounds like a very good New Year's resolution for Uform. But, lots of independent retailers are listening to this. So, what do you think their top priority should be going into the new year? What do you think their New Year's resolutions should be?
We trade with over 2,000 independent kitchen retailers. So you get a lot of opinions. And if you're just trying to get a view of how's the market, you'll get, for want of a better word, 2,000 different responses. But what's surprising is the dichotomy of different opinions. So some doing very well, some not doing very well. And the only thing I've picked out of that is those that focus on service and particularly marketing in this market. There's a lot of people that just want, rely on footfalls down. That's not the way to it. Those who really focus on pulling the customer in, not anchoring on who's selling what around them, but what they're doing and how they deliver a better product, a better service. Those ones are really winning, and you get completely different stories. People are absolutely flying out there. So, you've got to innovate. You've got to have the right products. And look, you've got to be competitively priced in this market. There's no question. But it's not it. People are prepared to pay the money if you give them what they want. You've just got to know what they want. So yeah, I would say, look, go out there and believe in yourself, believe in your brand, believe in your product, and deliver what the customer wants. Sounds obvious, but
that's fantastic advice, I think, across the board. But to conclude this now, Wes, the most important question of all, and I want you to really think about this because I've appreciated your honesty here, and I want you to be just as honest with this final question, okay? As we come to the end of the year, there's only one question that matters on this podcast, and it's this. When you were a kid, what was the best Christmas present you ever got?
oh my goodness. It's a choice between two, but I think it was a giant train set.
It's a classic.
It's
an absolute
I
classic.
know it's a bit cliche, but I'm so sorry. It was it was a beaut.
Thank you for that, Wes. An absolute classic. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for your candour. It's always really interesting to get the views of a company the size and the influence that Uform has. So thank you so much for sparing us some time.
No worries. Nice to see you, Andy.